All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of as we look to close out the week. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we definitely participate and engage. If everybody can hear me loud and clear and you're all ready to go, do me a huge favor, drop me a 1 in the chat so we can get this session started. All right, see here. All right, Kay, I see you first one out the gate, JC. Awesome. So let's make sure that every morning, right? So important, right? Which is why we start the day off with it. Let's make sure that we are taking massive action, right? Making sure that we are accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing for any outcome. Let's make sure that we center ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, assuring a balanced approach to trading. Let's trust in our education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. And we always want to make sure that we imagine our trades successfully materializing. Let's obey our trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear. And let's make sure that we are never looking back or stopping once our trade has commenced. All right, everybody. We are at the end of what has been a tumultuous week. In the markets coming out of last week, a lot of back and forth, but it is all good, right? Because we are patient traders and we make sure that we pick our spots in this game. All right, so let's switch over to the Forex factor, see what's coming on this morning, right? In regards to the fundamentals, we talked about it yesterday, pretty light week. Friday, we have numbers, right? Employment numbers for the Canadian dollar. Okay, we know that the CAD, right, has been fairly weak. So if we move over to trading economics, right, just read about the CAD quickly. We can see, right, that it's traded towards 137 per dollar, right? So this is against the dollar, recovering from an 8-month low, right? So it's been weak of 138 on August 1st, driven by improved foreign currency inflow prospects and reduced U.S. recession fears that have restored global risk appetite. The rebound in oil prices fueled by a 6th consecutive week of declining U.S. inventories and concerns over Middle East supply disruptions has further supported the loonie. However, CAD gains are tempered by weak domestic economic data, including a drop in manufacturing PMI to 47.8, right? That's below 50, right? So it's showing contraction in the area of manufacturing. That was July numbers, and a modest 0.1% GDP growth in June. Additionally, the Bank of Canada's recent rate cut and expectations for up to 150 basis points of further easing over the next year present a headwind for the CAD, all right? So that employment data will be important, right? Will it just continue to be a negative pile on to what's been happening domestically, or will we see improving numbers in that area, right? So that data is at 8:30 for the Canadian dollar, and that is really it for today. All right, that is really it for today. Moving over to trading economics, we can see China inflation rate hits a 5-month peak. Okay, dealing with inflation issues. European stocks rise slightly. Okay, Norway inflation is up. French jobless rate ticks lower in France, 7.3% in Q2. Here, right, Bitcoin climbs back above 60K. So we'll make sure that we take a look at that today because there is a play. I believe I was looking on the 1 hour, taking a look at the dollar, right? What's going on with the DXY? So it held its recent advance to around 103.2 on Friday, hovering near a 1-week high. That's better than expected. U.S. jobless claims data alleviated fears of an economic downturn. Data on Thursday showed that initial jobless claims fell 17,000 to a seasonally adjusted 233,000 last week, posting the biggest drop in about 11 months and coming in below forecasts of 240,000. Markets dialed back bets for Federal Reserve interest rate cuts after the data, with odds of a 50 basis point cut in September falling to 54% from 69% earlier in the week. The dollar is on track to end the week little changed as the market recovered losses from Monday's sell-off, with the safe haven yen and Swiss franc pulling back from recent highs amid improving macroeconomic outlook, right? So, man, avoid, right, making decisions based on fear and greed, right? So haven't we seen that as of late, right? The negative reaction, right, to the U.S. jobs data, right, last Friday sparked a major sell-off, in addition to a lot of things that was going on with the yen, with the carry trade unwinding and the whole nine. But as we see, things, right, aren't always as bad as they seem. Okay, so that's that. Any questions on the DXY or anything fundamentally? No, no. All right. Moving over, taking a look at the DXY. Okay, we see here on the daily, okay, where we came in and we did find support, okay, at that 102 level that we were talking about. So we have found some support and we see a rally, we see a low that got put in. Okay, moving a little sideways on Friday. Okay, coming out the gate, a little slow, a little neutral, but we have gotten bullish momentum over the last few days or so, okay, with the dollar. So we come here off the lows, see where we are on the 4 in regards to our ABCD wave, okay. Have to love the ABCD wave, tracking those emotions, right? Tracking those emotions across the market. So there we are, okay. All right, see if we want to recover and stay bullish to the upside on the US dollar, okay? Any questions on the DXY? Nope. Any pairs that you all have in mind that you want to take a look at? NZD, okay. All right. We'll take a look at that. Right before we go to that though, let's take a look at this Bitcoin, right? Because it has started to recover. Look at this, all right? Look at this move here off the lows, right? Huge bullish move. Okay. We got that swing low to form, right? To the left, to the right. Okay, that's higher than your center wick low. And you see this huge bullish move. Now, this is a nice bullish candle on the rally. And now we are pulling back. So if we come down to our 4 hour, first we'll look at our one. Okay. Okay. So we got our 1 hour. We got a new AB boundary. And if we come into, this is a play that's happening right now. We come into our 1 hour chart. We're in the 80-20 zone. So we're looking for this to pull back. All right. Looking for this to pull back to the downside. And so you're either playing at 80-20 or you're waiting for a low price, right? Preferably in your buy zone to get back long.
So Benny, I have a question about Bitcoin, just a real. So
Mm-hmm.
my understanding of it is that Bitcoin doesn't have like any underlying like asset. So is it is it even affected by fundamentals? Like what is it aside from if it's hooked up with a if it's in a pair, the your counter currency is going to be the one that's affected by the fundamentals. So what is it that what is it that's driving Bitcoin price action?
Risk off sentiment, in my opinion. In my
Okay.
opinion. Right. That in my opinion, like ever since I've been watching it, right, it's a lot of like when alternative asset when it first came to be, people were thinking like, okay, this is gonna it could serve as a maybe like a safe haven type of scenario. Like
Hmm.
when I'm, but it's to me, just my opinion. Um, not a super expert in crypto, but to me, the way I follow it, because I agree with what you're saying, right? I agree with what you're saying. It's here to stay, right? It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Um, it's here to stay. It's a means of exchange. So to me, I've seen it when the market is risk on, it rallies, right? It rallies when it's risk off. It seems like it turns to the downside. Right now, we're coming off of a rally here, but now we're seeing some strength in the dollar, which this particular pair, right? That's what it's pegged again is the US dollar.
Hmm.
So to me, this move makes sense, right? We're getting a DXY that's showing a little bit of strength,
Hmm.
right? So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a correction. But if this market, if we move over to the quant, this is a great question that you ask, right? Very great question. Um, um, Take a look at our risk. Let's look at our risk gauges for this morning, right? We're a bit mixed, right? So we're starting to swing, right? So we know it's been rough coming off that non-farm payroll, but you're starting to see some things starting to rally. Like for example, I'm looking at uh tech sector data now, right? And we see, for example, let me see if I can pull it over into my screen. There we go. Um, we're looking at tech sector data now. Look at Apple. Look at the recovery, right? That's
Hmm.
starting to happen with the tech sector, right? So to me, it's kind of it falls in line with that. Just from since I've been observing it, right? We see the rally being put in. Look at what's going on with the tech sector, right? We saw the numbers. We saw the S&P fall off, right? Now look at your individual stocks in the tech sector, right? 1.66%, up 1% on Microsoft. Nvidia has recovered 6.29%, right? That's this year that's been 112% on Nvidia, right? And that split is what is it, 100, a little over $100 right now for your investment portfolios. I'm definitely looking at picking up more Nvidia, right? Because it's split, right? So, but that's gonna continue to grow. Like it's in everything, right? So, like look at this, Broadcom 6.95%. So you're starting to see a recovery when you really start to dig down and look at what's going on with the S&P. Um, you see that we're starting to see a recovery. And at the same time, right, we see Bitcoin put in a rally off the lows. So if you look here at the daily, right, look at that, right? Focusing in on those swing lows and swing highs. And
Hmm.
now we're getting a test of that candle. Look at our stochastic in the buy zone. So we've got an 80-20 here um, that I'm looking for a low price on, right? So if you're not shorting it, we're going to look for a low price. We're going to look for a low price and then look to see if we can get another rally, another C to D push out of that. But fundamentally, to me, it's going along with risk on, risk off sentiment, in my,
Okay.
in my opinion. I haven't seen, I don't even know if I'm not going to say never, because I don't always have my eyes on it, but I haven't really seen it act as that safe haven, you know.
Hmm.
So that's how I would follow it. I would look at the sentiment, and that's how I would play Bitcoin. See how it falls in line with the technicals and look to make my move from there.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. But that's a great question. There's still so much to learn, in regards to just cryptos overall, and the role that it's going to play as we move forward into the future, for sure. Any other questions on this Bitcoin play? Okay. All right. So moving on, we wanted to look at this NZD Swissy. right? So this is, right? If we look at where it's coming off the lows, okay, this is, it's made the U-turns moving bullish, right? So we've got an official swing low. Stochastic is still in the buy zone. Right? So this it's probably going to take this out. Just hit that extension there. So maybe a pullback and a continuation. See what happens. You see that level. Uh, um, I lost everything anyway. So we'll run this to the upside like so. Okay. So overall, we're moving bullish. We're in the 80-20 zone, right? So this may come back down. Right. Looking at this from the one on this 1 hour play. We got a D extension hit. Right. I don't know. Um, with the way this broke above, right, back above this monthly level. We'll see if it holds above there. We did just hit a D extension here on the sub fib to the upside. But what I'm thinking is we could see that pull back, but then I'm thinking that it'll eventually move up and take that A out. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking on there. So I think a pullback, okay, a pullback, especially right if we get the markets moving, if that risk gauge continues to move, if the VIX continues to move down, right? If we get back to risk on, I'm looking at this as a correction, and then a continuation, right? So this 80-20 area, this zone right here would make sense, right? So we may come back below that. We may not. We'll see. It's a bit of a funny one here. But if we get a correction, second. All right. So if we get a correction back to the lows, the key is going to be to watch that monthly level here to see if price gets back below that, right? If we get back below that level, then we'll look for further declines. Right? We'll look for further declines. So this is the key, is to see if we hold right in this zone. Right? If we form a low there, then we're gonna look to continue. Right? But if we get a strong break, right below this level, and we're gonna move to that 382 and beyond. Right? So we'll see how much profit taking we get. Okay. Uh, and then we'll look for a U-turn. We'll continue to watch, right? Risk sentiment. All right. We know it's been a lot of back and forth. Okay, but it seems like some confidence is coming back into the market. So with this NZD, right? That's your risk on asset, your commodity, right? So risk on asset versus your safe haven. Okay, so that it'll tell us a lot in regards to risk sentiment. Okay, so that's where we are. What are you thinking on this, Joy?
So these are the ones that I struggle with when it's in our sweet spot for a sale, but due to the environment that we're in, far as with the data that they coming out with data next week, and by it being a risk off environment, like and it's Swiss being weak, does the NZD have enough strength to move up to that point? Because technically it do
Mhm.
on the charts, but fundamentally it doesn't. But
Right.
but they're all in the necessary spots. So my thing was, because I was playing this off of the cloud break, and I
Mm-hmm.
noticed when I played it on the cloud break, and it was on my MT4, I messed up. But I'm in a good position. It wasn't a good entry, but it was a decent entry. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, do I just close it out? And this is what I'm asking myself. Do I just close it out? Because I am playing the 80/20 on my other account. Um, do I close my buyout, or do I just, just let it hang there and then just add position? So that's why I'm in the position trying to make up my mind.
Yeah. So it just depends. Like in your one, like the 80/20 you plan in your one account. But if your other one is a long-term swing account, you know, and your fundamental bias is long, then if there's then that as we move through these ABCD ways, if you're holding a long-term buy on that, right now,
Mm-hmm.
then how you look at this is okay, fundamentally a long-term buy to the upside on this, then that should give, if we come back to a low, right, depending on where you enter at, right? So if we come back to a low, so for example, if you've been in this for a while,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if I've been in this uh for a while at this level, right? If I've been in on a buy, then if my long-term swing account, my fundamental bias is long on this pair, then this pullback is going to give me an opportunity to add to that position, right?
Gotcha.
To add to that position. Uh-oh. Hold on. There we go. So it's going to give me an opportunity to add to this position once it hits my buy zone. Looking for my horizontal. There we go. Right. So once it gets down in this area, then I could be potentially looking. If I get evidence, right, of hey, it's looking to reverse out, make that C to D push, then I'm looking to add to that position and for a further continuation. So in a long-term, account, long-term swing, we know that this market is going to move in waves. So it's going to be in profit. It's going to take some back, right? But we're still focused on that long-term target. So, okay, I got a good entry here, right? I don't expect it to come back down, right? All the way back down to that level because my bias is long, right? My bias is long. And you have to hold to that idea. If that's your idea for the long term, hold to it until the market proves you wrong. So when this turns over, I'm still confident in my idea, and I know that this is just a correction in my mind because my bias is bullish. Then I'm gonna look to add to that position and continue long, right? Because I'm not. If I'm in it here, I'm not adding to a losing trade. I'm winning. That makes sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah, I'm
It makes
winning.
sense.
I'm winning that trade. So again, it's just a difference in philosophies, between the different accounts, right? If I'm if I'm more in that, that shorter term trading account, and I'm trading like what's the opportunity right now today, right? That short term trade. Okay, I'm in an 80/20, so I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that trade.
And then just letting the swing just swing
Just like, mm-hmm.
because I came off the 1 hour, everything is good, but then when you start zooming out and zooming in, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not ideal for this time frame, but it meets the criteria for what I was doing for the 1 hour.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where the confusion. That's why we always say, like, hey, you have those separate accounts set up. If you like, because I like both. Just be honest. You know what I mean? I like both. I like, when I'm in that mood for those shorter term opportunities. But then, I developed a skill set to use fundamentals, in higher time frame technicals to where I can swing trade pretty good too. And so if you have those two separate accounts running, then hey, fundamentally I'm bullish. I'm looking to add right at low prices. When I get new established low prices, I'm going to look to add to the position, and then we're adjusting our stop losses as we move further in the profit. Because just think, I already know what my risk is. So if I'm in here at this lower level, and it comes down and it eventually stops me out. Hey, it's just telling me that I'm wrong. It's all right. I already figured out my risk. So great question on
Thank you.
that. Mhm, mhm. It's almost like we live in two different worlds with the way, with the way we frame things in this group. And you could be either or, you could be both. My advice is I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do two different things in the same account. That's just my opinion. Okay. I wouldn't be, long-term swing trading and day trading on the same account. That's just me. That's a lot. That could be a lot. So
Benny,
uh
can you put the cloud on this 1 hour?
can I what?
Can you put the cloud on your 1 hour?
Mm-hmm.
Because I
I
was trying
can.
to see that monthly level that you have. I'm like, I ain't got that level. You had the secret sauce on your chart. So I went ahead and took notation of your monthly level and I see where it came from. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to see how the cloud would look on your chart.
Okay. Uh, let's put it on there. On this, you want it on the one?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, there we go. Okay. So we're looking bullish. That's why I'm looking at that level, you know, uh, to see if we're going to retest that level and just continue without a major. You see, we came off that 236, right? And we made the move. 1 hour stochastic is back in the buy zone. So, all right. 5669. Okay. So you're in, yeah, 699. So you're in pretty good. You're in pretty good on that. Right. So for that long-term swing, that's a pretty good entry. Great job. Put you some sevens in that chat. It's great work. Right. It's really good work. Right. Because it's good. It's really good. 'Cause there's 50, 70 there. So that's a good entry. And so let's see what happens. See what happens. All right. All righty. Got good there. All right. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
Bro, good morning, man. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Man, doing great. It's Friday.
It is Friday, man.
Yeah, for
Wrapping up
sure.
a fun, interesting week. We'll say that.
Indeed, man. Well, we're glad you're here. Anything on the fundamental front that you've been able to catch this week?
Um, the only thing I saw is just Bloomberg does those surveys
Mm-hmm.
and a recent survey regarding jumbo rate cuts from the
Mm-hmm.
Fed. Most people are expecting them not to do that. Um, but outside of that, nothing outside that you've already probably covered.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that too, and then how the expectations started definitely subside for that. Um, they even got a little crazy and was talking about an emergency, intervention in the
Yeah.
cut. Like I'm like, man, they went bananas, and people are forgetting that we have so everybody's trying to call a recession, but people are forgetting that in the Eurozone, in the UK, they have already had technical recessions, and
Hmm.
and the world didn't end, the bottom didn't fall out. So all of these fears of a recession or whatnot, like we've already experienced, some countries happen at those technical recessions, those two negative quarters of GDP like that. I mean, we've seen it, and they are still here. Those nations still exist. So I know people, get on the hype train, and some people, people are trying to predict it and call it. But if we do with the success that our economy has had for such a long period of time, if we do have a period where we move into a recession, I don't know if it's going to be severe. I think this was definitely uh, a market overreaction.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll continue to follow and see. But I was picking up on that too. I mean, it got crazy. So, which is
Wow.
why I kind of just sat back, like, okay, I've seen this before, and now you're starting to see, right? The VIXI hit what was it? It hit 50. It was higher than 50 at one point, wasn't it?
It was like 55, I think is the highest I got.
Right. And so we're back down. I think this morning at 23.6 or something like that. On the VIXI, we're seeing tech stocks, uh, you know, show some positive gains. So we'll see if this carries through until next week, and if we just, continue to move right, our risk gauge is back over into risk on. So we can see already that for today, right, we're starting to move. We're starting to move a bit, not quite out of the woods yet, but starting to see some positive gains. Um, Warren Buffett stock said, "Yeah, I know, and you never know what the reasoning is. You know how large his portfolio is. You never know what the reasoning is. He may see a major opportunity, somewhere else, and may need to reallocate. So it's just it's crazy, right? So that's why you have to do the research for yourself and not get caught up in the hype train either way, right? Either way, kind of straight neutral, right? Don't get you. It's the brain can't operate both ways. It can't be emotional and rational at the same time. It just doesn't function that way. So we always have to be aware of that when we hear all of this rhetoric going on. All right. So that's the Ryan. I had asked people before, um, any particular pairs that you're playing that you're keeping an eye on.
Um, I'm always watching those yens and those retracements that they're working through right now.
Hmm.
Um, Oil's still on this trek to the upside, and the other one that I was in was Eurocad short.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm interested to see where that goes if we get a turnaround and a push back to the upside. Seeing as where we're
Okay.
sitting right now. But
Got
that's
it.
it. Like I said, just watching those yens and those reversals, looking for high prices, and then trying to see what that Eurocat is going to do.
Hmm. Hmm. So let's take a look at this oil play, right? Ever since we called that double bottom, right? We are making positive gains to the upside, everybody. Is anybody else playing oil long? Right? Yes, yes, yes. I know 72.55. What? And no joy. Drop some sevens for Ryan. And they're holding those gold trades. Donette, good morning. Make sure guys, make sure you guys have control over your microphones. Yasina, good morning. All right, everybody that joined us, Michelle. All right, we got the crew here now. All right, so yep. So we are continuing to move bullish on oil. Look at this play. We look at the 4 hour. We are moving pretty good. We're above the 50, headed towards that 200 moving average. Okay. So we look for pullbacks and opportunities to get in. Beautiful. We held right above that daily level. See, we circled that level. We held it. And we are continuing to move along. So great job on that, everybody. We'll take a look at gold, or are we looking at these commodities? We are still right in the midst of the 2024 play of the year, gold long, right? So we found support and we are moving to the upside on gold, right? Right. Who's still holding that gold long position? 2394, got two more,
Yeah,
right?
my TP hit that 24.91. I think that was actually the extension. So
Okay, okay. Yeah. Great work, right? Seven's in the chat. Happy Friday, right? Good deal. Right, we've got it. We've got this now, everybody. Continuing to be patient, right? So when we look here, right, looks kind of funny, but here's your low. There's your low, right? And now, right, we've got right, pretty good move. We finished bullish yesterday, right? So this is iffy. Like, I don't know, right? But now look what it gave us, right, for that daily candle. And we are continuing this morning, right, on gold. So great work on that, everybody. All right, it started moving at 625. Joy is on it. Joy is on it for sure. Okay, so that's good. That is really good. So we're moving along on gold. What are we? I want to look at this nat gas is starting to put in a low. Okay, here on the daily, there. Okay, so we've got this low. We've been moving higher for the last couple of days, right? So this is our low on that gas. Okay, and we're moving long. All right, so if we move down to the 4, got a pretty good swing going. Take it down to the 1. So we're in the middle of that ABCD move. So we look for that to finish out on that guy. This is really nice here. Look how it came down to that 61.8 and then took off to the upside. All right. Silver. Got a bullish move. Don't have a low yet. Right? We don't have a low yet. Wondering if we can get right. We're in the zone. But I was hoping we can get back to this weekly level here. Right? But we weren't able to get back there. So we'll continue to watch this to see over the next few days to see if this is actually going to be a new low that forms here on silver. Man, I was hoping for that double bottom on the daily to come in, right? Look, past resistance becoming future support. Right, we're close, but we didn't quite get there. So we'll see if that's ready to move higher. Right, but lower lows, lower highs. Wonder if this is going to be the reversal point on that. So you took your eye out that wanted to buy some coins. Yeah, while it was low. I know I was sitting too, but like I said, I wanted to really push into this level. So we haven't gotten that low to form yet on the daily. We'll see what happens, moving into next week. See if we'll see. We'll see on that one. All right. Moving on. Looking at our indices. Right. So looking at this NASDAQ, look at this push. All right, look at that push. We've got on a daily next level resistance here. So, all right. So we are looking like we are trying to recover, right? So here's our swing low. There's that move to the upside. Let's see if we can get a continuation. See if we can get a continuation. Our stochastic is now in the buy zone. Drop it down to the 1. And there's that double bottom that we talked about yesterday. And we are moving bullish, right? So we're definitely looking for that extension to get hit. Okay. So that's been a good play back to the upside. Taking a look at the S&P. Okay. Moving long. Okay. Expect to move to the D extension. Look at that pull back to the 61.8. Okay. Anybody get long on the S&P? Yep. 52.71. Great job. 7s all day. Right. Good work. Right. Believe, right, in your education and your technical analysis, right? Look at, right, the Nikkei is trying to recover, right? We're getting these recoveries across the board, right? Moving sideways, right? But at the end of the day, right, we're starting to, right, if we move up to the daily, look at that. Stochastics in the buy zone. See if we can get a further push. Okay. Right. It's crazy if things have been, right? It's just setting us up for opportunity, right? Look at this, right? We tracked this yesterday. We've continued to move bullish. Bullish on the FTSE. Look at that. UK 100. So we've been spot on, right? Back above that weekly level, stochastics in the buy zone. See if we can continue to put in rallies. Okay. Let's look at the Russell. Okay. Same price action, right? The market is moving. This is now the 3rd time we've seen this same wave. Pull back to the 61.8 daily support. That's an identical move, everybody. Right? We're getting smarter. We're getting smarter. Look at this. How about that? Look at that, right? If you take this this fib off, right? It's a breakout point. Okay. If we're just looking at just the raw price action, swing highs and swing lows, man, that gave it to us, didn't it? Look at that. No matter how we look at the markets, we're on top of it. Okay. We're in the right position. Okay. Pull back to a 61.8. Across the board. And now tell me that the Fibonacci sequence doesn't work, right? One S&P. NASDAQ, right? Right? See the move. Look at that. Look at the Nikkei, 225. Right? Look at the Russell. Same correction. Okay. UK 100. Bang.
Could have traded all of those indices and be done for the month last week.
Be done for the month. We're gonna get there, right? We're gonna get there. Okay. We're gonna get there. We have the opportunities, right, for the capital, right? We have folks in the group, working with the Darwin. Look at that. We moved across the pond, right, from the US to the UK, right? Moved the other way across the ocean, right, to Japan and the Nikkei. It doesn't even matter, does it? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let's look at this US 30, right? You guys had that right off that swing. Right? Flip it around. Let's move on up. Look at our daily chart. Uh-oh. Same thing, right? Take this off. Okay. That just gave us confirmation that we're in the buy zone. Okay. We've got a new low here. Let's move it on down. Can't make this stuff up. Okay. If we just stay patient, right? And keep calm, right? The Fibonacci sequence, right? We talk about just nature and the balance that it brings, right? It brings balance to the market for us. We're identifying those swing highs and swing lows, right? We're seeing it, right? We move down to the time frames and we see, right? We see the wave, okay? Here we are in our 1 hour, right? This will push deeper, right? So deeper correction on the 1, right? So let's clean across the 4. Right? We got a new AB boundary moving sideways. Right? It's a lot of price action on that 1, so we'll go back to the 4. Go back to the 4. Okay. And it's falling in line with everything else. Closing in on that D extension, right? So there's your indices, right? So we've got this, right? We've
And the
got
5
this.
minute is a 80-20, but it may hit the D extension based on what we see in the
All right. On which one? Which one?
US 30.
US 30. You said the 5 minute?
Yeah.
All right. Now, where you running your fib from?
The bottom, the
The
low.
bottom. All right. Hmm, I see. I see. See what you're looking for. It may. You never know, though. It's a 5-minute chart. So just a higher time frame slight correction could drive that back down, but we're moving sideways, right? It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. So let's see what happens. It's trying to turn over a little bit there. Let's see what happens. Appreciate the heads up on that. I wonder if it will make that correction back down. We're still pre-market, right? We're still pre-market. So let's see. Okay. So let's move on, right? Take a look at so let's look at the energy sector, right? Which is XLE, right? So we're looking at that, our different sectors, right? In the S&P, that breakdown. Okay. So when you see that XLE, right, that E is for energy. And we know right now, this morning is 2%, up to slightly over 2.1%. Look at that, right? So I'm showing you this so you guys can see, like, it doesn't matter, right? The reason why we wanted to do that training on calculating your risk, and your lot sizes is so you guys can feel comfortable with this framework and you can trade anything. Anything with this framework. Okay. So there we are. Look at the 4. Okay. Look at the move. Right. Off the lows. You got the swing low. Price is taking off. Okay. So now we're inside S&P. Okay. Boom. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. All
I
right.
think the underlying thing from looking at your review here now is that when
Mhm.
from the higher time frame came into that support and they all pushed up,
They all pushed up.
that's a good
That was
one.
that was an identified low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good strategy. Wait until they push into the zone.
Yeah, into those key
Higher time
levels.
frame, yeah. Higher time frame support levels,
Hmm. Hmm. Right? Whether it's moving to the upside and we run into resistance, right? So it kind of forces us to be patient, right? And just wait for those levels to hit and then look for evidence and signs of that reversal. Right? But, you have to be patient. You'll trade less, but, it'll run you into some pretty big moves. All right. So that's our energy sector. Let's move into looking at utilities, which are just slightly up. Right. So we are slightly up here, right? Kind of just moving around, not a whole lot there, right? I think that's not even up, a 0.5% right now. Right. So this is where we are, but you can see how it's pulled back. Such a water bill. Well, if we look though, right? So this was the last move that we had. Okay. Moving to the upside there. Last swing. Okay. So Joy, in this regard, you are right. On that daily support. But we seem to be right at this beat boundary, which is a monthly level. We're stalling a bit, right? Strong bearish candle, but then we start to push sideways. So we'll see how that ends up. So we're retesting this level now. And then we've got a new level here on the daily. there. Okay. Like so. Okay, retesting some levels. So that's where we are. When we take a look at the utility sector, right? And then, so think about it. You look at the S&P, right? And then you can break that down into different sectors, okay? Right, as you guys continue to evolve as traders. But then you could break down utilities and say, what are the individual companies, right? What are the individual companies that are involved in the utility sector? You can look at that breakdown and then you can look to trade those companies using the same framework, right? I don't know about you guys, but I think that's super cool, right? It enables you to have consistency in your approach, right? Which is why we harp so hard on looking at the training, following the training, doing your homework, marking up your charts, because you will see it, and over time you will start to build more confidence. Yeah. Who really wants green grass? Oh, craziness, right? But they are high, right? So I know here, like definitely here in Michigan for sure. So that's where we are on utilities, right? You guys follow me on that? Does that make sense in regards to, right? You just keep drilling deeper and deeper and deeper, right? And you find those opportunities. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at it, right? XLF, right? So F is for financials, right? So we look at the financial sectors and we can see, right, that we are climbing, right? Stochastic is back in the buy zone, haven't quite made that U-turn yet, but we're starting to make a move, right, to the upside. A little delayed, okay? Here was our low, okay? And we got the 2, right, to the right, right? I love it when I can see that those 2 consecutive bullish candles, but we got it here on the 3rd, right? And so we're looking to see if we can maintain that momentum, right, to the upside.
Benny, I've been paying attention to that candle you was talking about from your mentor.
I don't know what.
When you said your mentor always took buys in his spots from the second buy candle.
Oh yeah, yeah, yep.
So I
For
was
that,
looking at it, I was trying to tell, and when I'm looking at, I'm trying to see if they're inside or outside bars.
So you're doing your research on that.
Yep.
That's good. That's good. And he always like to, would look for, if he definitely was in the game. If he saw 2, if he got 2 bullish candles on that daily to form that official swing low, those 2 candles to the right, if he got those 2 consecutive bull candles, he was in there, right? And so, some people will wait, they'll go to the lower time frame once they identify that and say, okay, now I'm gonna look for a pullback, to get in. Like you see here, right? Those pullbacks to get long, so it just depends on how you want to set yourself up. Some people are just like, look, I got that swing low, I'm taking a trade. I'm not trying to time it up with a pullback. I'm looking at this to go bullish. If it doesn't take out the low, I don't care if I get some drawdown. I'm looking for this to move long. And you can see a lot of these, right? You would be spot on, right? So let's look at our industrials, right? Okay, that industrial sector, right? So these are companies like, when we look at industrials, right? Think what's some companies? GE, Caterpillar, uh, Uber fits in that. Okay. Military, right? Lockheed Martin, stuff like that, right? And you can see that we are recovering. We're making a move to the upside again, right? Here's that low. Now you may be right if you're saying, I want to get in a little bit earlier, then you may start to spot it to come in, right? You just have to do your homework, right? Do your due diligence in studying, right? So you may say like, hey, I like it when, I can identify coming into that level, and then maybe you say I'm going to drop to the 4 and look to play a swing low on the 4, right? I like the daily, but you can see here because we know that swing low is going to form on the 4 hour first. So it just depends on, what you prefer, right? So like here, right here was your swing low with that bullish candle, right? You may enter, right? You had some drawdown, but you can see we've moved higher. Okay, we've moved higher. Maybe you look for your swing low on the 4 and look for a pullback on the 1 hour or the 15. Okay, you guys follow me on that? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So trading what we see in the near term, right? So this is not my long-term swing, my long-term C to D move. This is saying, okay, right now I'm looking at this reversal in the short term. This may be a larger overall play, right? We've trained you guys up on that. This is saying, okay, I'm looking at these daily swing highs and swing lows, coming into key levels of support or resistance. And how do I want to get in and enter this trade, right? So if you, for example, on this daily, right, we see that that's moving in the ABCD wave. Here's my pullback, right? Here's my pullback that I've got. Boom, right? We had one on the first one too, but we'll go off of this one. If I go up to my daily chart, okay, go back up to my daily chart. All right. Okay. That's similar, right? So here's my low, 2 candles to the right, right? If you get on, look where that closed. So you would be in the same area in this example, regardless, right? You would have been in the same zone, and look how we've moved higher. So yeah, right. We've moved higher. The whole key with this is, hey, it's not taking out my low, so I'm good, right? But some people off that higher time frame, they don't like that wider stop. So then you just work your way down through the time zones, right? Through the time frames, okay? Through the time frames. And then you look for your pullbacks and maybe you get a tighter stop from there. Okay. But this really forces you to be patient, right? And we're just trading what we see, right? Because when you're playing with some capital, hey, you just need that one wave, right? And you're good, right? So you may not want to hold it for that longer play, okay, to that larger de-extension target. Right. So we are clearly moving up. So this is telling us, right, as we move through here, as we move through and we look at these, that when we are definitely recovering right now. Okay. And that's what's going on right now. So if we look at XLK, right? So that K, right, doesn't fall in line like the rest of them, like XLE for energy, XLI for industrials. XLK is your technology sector, right? So if I'm saying, hey, technology stocks, right, I'm thinking Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, right, Broadcom, Oracle, Salesforce, Adobe, right, AMD, okay? So we can see here where we got to this double bottom. Going through so many of these, right, on this beautiful Friday, because I want you all to see, right, that your education is definitely worth it, and it goes across all asset classes. Okay. So we are moving bullish, right, off this right side low. Come on now. You see it, right? We are moving long. Okay. Pretty cool, right? Any questions over anything that we cover, right? We could go all morning. Okay, we could go all morning and go through these charts. Okay. Yeah. No questions. See, that's how you found Berkshire Hathaway, Geico? Yeah, absolutely. Dig in, everybody, right? Dig in, right? XLV, right? That's your healthcare sector. Okay, your healthcare company. Okay. Starting to move along, right? What does that look like on the 4? Okay. Okay. Moving up. Moving up. So you get so you could trade, right? The S&P, and then I can dig down, right? So the S&P is moving positive. Well, what's moving positive? What sector's moving positive within the S&P? I'm gonna double up and go ahead and get that too. Right? Something to think about. Right? We can trade anything. We can trade anything. All right, Ryan, anything before we close out, sir?
No, sir. Great session.
Appreciate it. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your Friday. We'll be back here tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Forex Weekly Ritual. Looking forward to seeing everybody that can make it. Bye for now.